migration issues. Dr. Ashraf, good afternoon to you, sir.
Hi, good afternoon.
Thank you very much for joining us. So let me start by asking you, the international community has commended Egypt's interest in the file of migration and immigrants. What does this, mean, and what is the importance of such a tribute, especially keeping in mind the work that Egypt has done to stem issues related to legal migration?
Okay, let's start with the major role that Egypt is currently playing, starting from, let's call it starting from 2013, when the issue of irregular migration, and allow me to call it irregular, this is like an international law kind of term to be used. Mm-hmm. So Egypt has gone through this kind of, the issue of irregular migration and done lots of efforts in order to deal with this kind of crisis, honestly. Yes. Mm-hmm. Especially with the European side, which faces it as it's a threat. Mm-hmm. In Europe, that of course, if you reach the shore of a European country, so of course that you are entitled to have your refugee status determination interviewed as an asylum seeker, even if you enter the country irregularly. Mm-hmm. So Europe's major fear was just to try to control this kind of mass influx of people, not only from Africa, but even from countries which had some kind of like civil wars, like Syria, and even from Gaza and Iraq. Mm. So Egypt's effort has been done in cooperation, of course, we have to say that, with international community, international UN agencies, and even INGOs. Of course, Egypt itself cannot handle the whole issue, given the big number of migrants and irregular migrants. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, so, Doctor. Yes. Okay. Yes, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
Yes. Right, Doctor. Now, let's talk a bit about some of the steps that Egypt has taken to combat this issue.
Okay. Let's start with the 2016. I mean, in 2010, by the way, Egypt was the first Arab country that issued a legislation of combating human trafficking. It's called Law Number 64. Of 2010. So it was issued in 2010, and Egypt not only did that, but we provided our experience to neighboring Arab states in order to issue similar legislations in order to combat this kind of international crime. Mm-hmm. Furthermore, in 2016, after the tragic incident of the sinking of the Rashid boat, which is Rosetta, area where more than 200 people lost their lives in front of the Egyptian coast of Rashid. So Egypt consequently issued the law number 82 of 2016 of combating the what is called, indicated in the legislation, the illegal migration. Mm-hmm. Furthermore, in last year, April 2022, Egypt issued an amendment to this current legislation, which maximized the sanction and made it with the law number 822 of 2022 as well. Yes. So it maximized the punishment and even added more kind of legislation to double and multiply the imprisonment and even the fine. It reached up to 5 million Egyptian pounds as a fine if this crime of human smuggling is committed by international gangs, what we call international gangs. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah.
Right. Doctor, now at the same time, Egypt also receives a large number of, refugees, as you've called them when they cross over or so. Tell me a bit about the status and the numbers that Egypt has received of refugees and where they hail from.
Okay. So here we should differentiate between two categories of refugees and migrants. We normally call them mixed migration, which could include migrants and refugees in addition to asylum seekers. So, of course, those who are under the mandate of UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, there are around 294,000 refugees and asylum seekers. Of course, the majority of them, around 50% of them are Syrians. Then around 60,000 of them are Sudanese, then Southern Sudanese, Eritreans, Ethiopians, and other people from around like 45 other countries with smaller numbers. However, this number is what we can call the iceberg, because according to an official figure, it indicated that there are like 9 million migrants are staying in Cairo, are hosted in Cairo by the Egyptian community. Maybe this number, I'm not sure about it, but however, the IOM, International Organization of Migration, it confirmed this number. So maybe the number didn't include those who migrated back from Egypt, but let's say that around 5 or 6 million who are from other neighboring countries, especially from Africa, who are residing in Egypt. Many of them, of course, they couldn't have the opportunity of being under the mandate of UNHCR, so they're considered like migrants. They are under the mandate of IOM, International Organization of Migration. So let's say that the minimum number, let's say that 5 to 6 million of those who are under the category of mixed migration, migrants and refugees and asylum seekers.
So, Doctor, could you tell us a bit about, some of the services that Egypt provides such refugees?
Okay. Egypt, let's say that from the very beginning, from 1954, Egypt had a memorandum of understanding with UNHCR, allowing UNHCR, because it has the capacity to conduct the refugee status determination interviews. So UNHCR is to determine who is a refugee and who is not. On the other hand, that Egypt is the entity that would provide residency permits, would provide the basic assistance, because being a refugee in any country, not only in Egypt, that requires not only being protected from being forcibly returned to your country of origin, but of course you're a human being. You have your needs. You need health. You need education. Sometimes even you need to facilitate an opportunity to learn how to learn a handicraft, for example. So Egypt is in cooperation, of course, with INGOs, international non-governmental organizations, whom we may call that the implementing partners of UNHCR, are providing the health care. With the Catholic Relief Services is providing the, let's say that the allowance for the students. Egypt from time to time would exempt a specific category after a mass influx of refugees and asylum seekers, for example, from Sudan. In 2011, were from Syria.
Yes.
So 2012, a year after that Egyptian Minister of Education, he exempted Syrians from being treated as foreigners. Same thing happened with Yemenis recently, like a few years ago, after the civil war in Yemen in 2014. Not only that, but let me also add that the initiative of 100 million health, which for the first time that it included refugees, which is, we should consider it as a step forward, that refugees are included in the Egyptian national healthcare regime.
Yes, indeed, treated as Egyptians as well. Right, I'd like to thank you very, very much, Dr. Ashraf Milad Roksir, lecturer on migration issues. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and your insight. Short break and we'll be back for more. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned.